Greetings, I am the wrestling fan. I may not be the best wrestling fan, but I am the finest. And welcome to my pick of the month. That's where I pick a match that I feel is underrated, which also happened that month, and give it some much deserved attention. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I've never wanted to join the Lex Express fan club at any point of my obsession with the wrestling that's pro, and I never thought a match of his would be one I ever spoke about positively, and chose as one of my world-renowned pick of the months. However, the fun of doing my show is that I get to watch a ton of wrestling content that I never would have thought I'd ever expose myself to. That sounded gross. But it's the perfect segue to talk about a man who Lex Luger arguably had his best matches with in the late 80s, early 90s. A relatively unknown wrestler known as Ramblin' Rickus Rhodes. Look it up. I can't believe I've never heard of this guy before. I mean, he had a great look, great promos, and awesome in-ring work, but I guess he never caught a break. Okay, enough of that. The Nature Boy Ric Flair could have a great match with practically anyone, but because he's had so many classics and is considered by many to be the best wrestler ever, I feel like his tussles with the future star of the hugely successful World Bodybuilding Federation, not as successful as the XFL though. I mean, that was so great, it got to fail twice! Are not as well remembered as they should be. Plus, considering it's February, the month of love. Barf! I figured that finding a Dick Glove match was apropos since he boinked anything with a pulse because everybody was in love with him. Yeah, don't lie to yourself. I don't care what you have down south, everybody wanted to take a ride on Space Mountain. So, my pick of the month for February 2021 is the Total Package Lex Luger versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from WCW Wrestle War, which took place on February 25th, 1990. Okay, real quick side note here, even if you don't want to watch this match, please just watch the intro to this pay-per-view.
Together and do the wild Lex Luger, the stylish Nature Boy thing, and then I'll be doing that wild thing.
Wow, WCW was so hip and with it in 1990, weren't they? That's totally radical! Anyway, this was originally supposed to be Sting versus Flair, with Sting winning the world title for the very first time. But because of an injury, Luger was put into the spot. The match starts out with both men feeling each other out, with Luger getting the better of Flair because of his strength advantage. Flair plays the cowardly heel so well, and tries so hard to outsmart the master of the Rack of Torture with plays from his dirtiest player in the game playbook. And eventually, they start to work. Luger looks amazing here as Flair sells his power moves like he was battling Thanos. He makes me believe that Luger's arsenal is devastating his body, even though the barrel of alcohol the night before probably did worse. Luger, though, needs to be credited with playing a believable, sympathetic babyface who may be young and Herculean-like, but has a difficult time competing with Flair's wrestling expertise between the ropes. I do need to bring up before I forget that this crowd was excellent and lively throughout. They booed Flair mercilessly when he was in control and went crazy whenever Luger made a comeback. Flair was a master at wearing his opponents down no matter their size, and Luger's arsenal, even though limited, is still impressive today just because of how damn strong he was. Flair carried Luger to a fantastic encounter and made him look like an even bigger star than he already was, and someone who could beat Flair for the title. I suppose the only negative is the ending, because it's a countout. Spoilers! I know that's lame, but I actually think it was smart because Flair was waiting to lose the title to Sting. More spoilers! And Luger couldn't lose to Flair yet again. It kinda works, and it doesn't take away from the phenomenal, almost 40-minute match that is so entertaining it flies by. Most fans say this match or their Starrcade 1988 main event, which I also hadn't seen, bad wrestling fan, bad, was their best battle. Now I did watch that after this, and personally I think the Wrestle War match is superior, only for the fact that Luger in 1990 was a more confident performer than in 1988, and you could tell by just how he was interacting with the crowd more during the match. But both are very fun to watch, and I suggest you do that. And that was my pick of the month for February 2021. I sure hope you enjoyed it. And also, have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I mean, it is the month of love. Barf! And even if you don't like that kind of thing, it is nice to find somebody. So I hope you do that, and, maybe I will too. I'm The Wrestling Fan, and I will still be The Wrestling Fan in the next video. I hope to see you then. Let's go. He used me. I didn't like riding Space Mountain. Shut up! Quiet on the set.